What you're saying is you don't really know what you're. Hold on. What you're saying is you don't really know what you're talking about, but you're throwing out a talking point.
Then we need to have a show just to talk about the U.S. government's involvement in Central America and the rest of Latin America.
I'm asking you specifically, what war in Honduras are you talking about that the United States inspired that justifies this migrant caravan? What war? When did that war end? What year? What are you talking about, or do you not know?
What I do. Okay, let's look at the role of the military of the U.S. currently in Honduras.
No, but you said there was a war. So you're totally ignorant of the history of Honduras, but you are lecturing us about our responsibility to let these people in because of a war that we started, but you can't tell us what war or what year it ended. I think that's what you're saying.
And not only that, but it's the involvement of the U.S. in Honduras and Central America. We've talked about this
so
before.
Obviously history is not your subject. Let's go to something.
And that's fine with me.
I'm not sure we're disagreeing.
I think I don't really know what you're talking about. Currently is supporting this caravan. Why would the United Nations be supporting and helping these people? And
not I can't imagine why the UN does a lot of things.
That the U.S. should stop Mexico from letting these people come here.
We're going to change the category to the 200 category. Let's see if you can answer this. Okay. San Francisco has now announced that illegal aliens, people who have no right to be here, will be allowed to vote in local school board elections. You live in the city. You think this is a great idea. Do you think Americans who sneak into other people's countries ought to be allowed to vote in their elections?
Well, let's look at how many white people live in Mexico. The Mexican government doesn't harass them. But let's look at...
Are they allowed to vote in elections?
Look how many people did not vote in this last election. Look at the numbers.
Okay. I would say as a performance artist, you're talented, but I just want to get at one straight answer. Are Americans who sneak into other people's countries without permission allowed, do they have a right to vote in those countries' elections?
So Tucker just wants to keep it simple in the second part of the video and asked him flat out, people who are here illegally in the United States, do they have the right to vote in our elections? And he put up a sign that said how many people did not vote. I'm not sure what that was referencing. But it didn't answer the question. Does he agree or believe that people who are here illegally didn't go through our system to get here legally? Do they have the right to vote in our elections? And he wouldn't answer the question. So he asked in a different way. He said, how about Americans? He said white people, but in general, Americans. How about Americans who sneak into another country illegally? Would they have the right to vote in their elections? Now, the clear thing that's so relevant, I think, in this question is, if you come to a country illegally, you just know about that country from what you've either been told or what you've seen, what you've heard. You really don't know wholeheartedly the history and the values of that country. And that is only given and learned and taken in if you come to a country legally, because they make sure that you get that knowledge. They teach you about the country's value, about the country's history, about everything that you should know about the country to say that you're a citizen of that country. So people who come here illegally and they don't even get any of that, how do they have the right to vote in our elections? They don't. How do they have the right to have a voice to vote in our election? That is the question. When they really don't know about our values, our history, or anything about our country other than what they've seen or what they've heard or what they've explored on their own.